In this video, I will be walking you through the last section of the Brookdale vest body section, which is the body underarm. Here is where we'll be working the last inch of our body and creating the garter stitch edging that surrounds each of the armholes. We'll be placing 4 markers in the first row for our edge trims, and at the same time removing our existing side markers. So our first row is a wrong side row. So let me just get situated here. Now I am knitting my Brookdale vest in the sample with 2 strands of sport weight yarn held together. So I'm double stranding. But the techniques I'm going to show you are the same regardless whether you're double stranding or just using a single strand. So we're starting with a wrong side row. And so just like all wrong side rows, we're going to first knit our front panel stitches. Okay, so I'm just about at the front panel marker, so then I'm just going to slip my marker. Then there's an asterisk, so we know that the next part of the instructions is going to be repeated. It says to purl a certain number of stitches, depending on your size, before the side marker. So I'm working on the 3rd size, so I need to purl 2 13 stitches before the side marker. So that's an important part of the pattern. I'm not purling 13, I'm purling 2 13 stitches before this marker. So let me just bring the yarn to the front and I'm going to start purling. Just going to count right now to see if I'm close to 13 stitches. And again, that's just for my size. So follow the number that it says for the size that you're making. So I'm at 14, so I just need to purl 1 more. So now I have purled to 13 stitches before my marker. Now I will place marker for edge trim. So I'm going to take a new marker and place it on my right needle, just like that. Then it says to knit a certain number of stitches, removing the side marker as you reach it. So again, for my size, it says I'm going to knit 26 stitches. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'll bring the yarn to the back of the work and I will knit 26 stitches. So I've knit half of them so far. I've knit 13 and I've encountered my, my side marker. So it had said to just remove that marker as I reach it. So I'm going to take this marker and just put it aside. So then I will knit another 13 so that I will have knit my total amount of stitches. Okay, now before I go on, I'm just going to double check that I have the right number of stitches knit since placing that last marker. It's always good to double check. Okay, so I do have the right number of stitches. And just going to point out that in case you're double stranding as well, when you're counting your stitches, you're going to see 2 strands for every stitch. So 2 strands is equal to 1 stitch. Okay, now it says to place marker for edge trim. So we will place another marker on the right needle for edge trim. And then it says to repeat from star 1 more time. So if we go back to where that asterisk was, it had said to purl to a certain number of stitches before the side marker. So I'll bring the yarn to the front of the work. And just like on the other side, I'm going to purl, because I'm doing size 3, I'm going to be purling to 13 stitches before the side marker. But you should do however many it says for your particular size. So I've knit to the proper number of stitches before my next side marker. And then just like we did on the other side, we're going to place a marker for edge trim on the right needle. And then we're going to knit the number of stitches as specified in the pattern, removing the side marker as you reach it. So I've just reached my side marker. I will remove it and then continue knitting. Okay, so I've knit, in my case, the 26 stitches since placing this edge trim marker. So I will go ahead now and place my next edge trim marker. And then the pattern says to purl to the next front panel marker. So I've moved my yarn to the front, and then I will just purl until I get to my front panel marker. Okay, we've reached the marker. I'm just going to slide it onto the right needle. I'm going to bring the yarn to the back of the work, and because it's a wrong side row, and we always on wrong side rows for the front panels, knit all the stitches. Okay, so our underarm edge trim setup row is now complete. I'm going to turn the work so the right side is facing. So now we have, our front panels as we always have. And then you can see here on one of the sides here are our edge trim markers. And as you can see with the little bumps right here, we've started to establish that garter stitch edging, which appears at both of the underarms. So now that our armhole edges are established, the next two rows are just going to be working the front panels as established, working in between these front markers here and along the back just in stockinette stitch. And then in between these edge trim markers, you're going to be working in garter stitch, which means these stitches here are always going to be knit. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the body underarm section, and I'll show you what that looks like then when it's done. And then we'll move on to the underarm divide section. So I've just finished the body underarm section. So I just wanted to show you what it will look like when you're done with it. So as you can see, here is one of my front panels. And then here were those edge trim markers. And as you can see, in between them is the garter stitch that goes right underneath it. And it's the same on the other side. There we go. So now we're ready to move on to the underarm divide section.